Hello everyone, welcome back to Chill Deal Trades, where I analyze the market so you know what's going on. Today we're going to be doing something special. We're going to be doing a crypto update. It's been a while since I've did this, but I feel like we're at a super crucial point for the crypto space, and there could be, I would say, once in a lifetime buying opportunities moving into the future. So that's what we're going to cover today. So if you haven't hit the sub button, please do, but let's get into the content. So first I want to visit something I've talked about. The last time I made a crypto video was about a month ago. Nobody watched it, and that's why I didn't make another one. But I told you guys for Cardano, ADA, do not buy yet when it was back at 150 about a month ago. Because when we looked at the ADA to Bitcoin ratio, it was too high and it needed to pull back. Basically what we were seeing was Bitcoin was pulling back at a larger percentage than ADA was. And ADA was lagging the pullback. I said, wait guys. Guess what happened? Now we're no longer trending at 150. We're trending around $1.10. So I know what I'm talking about. Just put that out there. But I want to get into Bitcoin first. So we'll cover Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. I always say it wrong, Cardano. But what I really want to bring up, and I feel like we're in a really crucial point right now, is this descending triangle. So what we've been doing basically since the crash is we've been coiling. And when something coils, it creates a lot of pressure and tension in the chart. You know, we have a more relevant example here. Back before the big rise higher, we coiled, and look what happened when we broke out to the upside of the coil. We went from 30K all the way to 60K, you know, within a couple months. And so I think we're again at a point where there's a couple potential scenarios that are going to happen. And let's just kind of play these out. So the first scenario I want to bring up is what happens if Bitcoin breaks down from here? I know everyone online is going to be like, no, it's not going to break down. Buy now. But what if it does? We need to look at all possibilities so we get a good understanding of what's going on. So technically speaking, MACD is actually just broke negative, so it's under 1. That's a really negative sign. We're not all the way there, but we're partially there, and that could potentially be telling us right now that there's more downside heading into the edge of this descending triangle. I'm looking at the weekly chart because I feel like everyone's going to be looking at the daily chart and they're like, we're just consolidating, but what's really happening? And so that's why I'm on the weekly chart. So we're coming to the edge of this triangle right here, this descending triangle. And if we are to break down, I want to look at some price points. So I personally, if we break down, I have a target around 24K. And if we get really negative momentum to the downside, I think we could go down to 20K. But I would say that's more unlikely. And the only reason I say that we could do that is because when we look on the weekly chart, the 100-day moving average, let me exit out of one of these real quick. There we go. The 100-day moving average is at 20K. And then when we look at the exponential moving average, because this is also important, we looked at MACD, we don't need that no more. We're just at about that 24K mark. We're a little bit above that, 25. So if we do pull back, I'm going to be looking for somewhere in between this range, between these 2 points, which is 25 to 20K. And I bring this up because if it dips there, I'm not a financial advisor. If it dips there, fill your freaking pockets. I personally don't believe we'll ever get down to this price if we do break down, unless a black swan event happens in the crypto space. That's the only way we'll get this low again. And like, if I look at kind of what's been happening in the space, retail traders have been getting a little bored with crypto. Robinhood just came out and said that they're seeing an extremely low engagement on crypto for retail traders. And so in this consolidation, retail investors are getting really boring. And what's better than to do when somebody gets boring is to pull the rug out from below, make them sell and pick up the shares. If we really think about what's happened over the last year, is institutional investors have become so much more intrigued about crypto. And this is what I've been saying the whole time. And why would an institution want to buy at 30K when they could pull the rug out from under you and get it at a 20 to 30% lower price? That's just my thought. That's a lot of speculation, but when someone's bored, there's nothing better than do them pull the rug, because when someone gets bored and something exciting happens, they start to panic. You know, we have a bunch of stop losses around this 30K mark, 30K to 29K. There's a ton of stop losses. So as we see, as we break out of this descending triangle, there's really violent action. The other two possibilities is the reverse of that. So we actually break to the upside. I think that can create a pretty violent move back to around 40 to 45K. And so let me get my trend line up. You know, we have kind of this trend line, and I think we could definitely move back up to a 40K at least, if not a little bit higher, based on that more long-term trend line that we have on the chart. On the daily chart, it's even a little bit higher, so we could even push up a little bit higher above that trend line. But these are things you really need to pay attention. This is, I'm saying the next 2 weeks, something's going to happen, and we really need to pay attention to how this breaks out of the pattern. I also want to look at Ethereum and Cardano, because we also want to see how those charts are looking. And when we look at these charts, the same exact pattern. We have a descending triangle into this price point. So we have the beginning of August, which is basically the same, and then we have a secondary, which is out through the end of August, which I didn't draw that, but on the daily we have a similar trend line showing out to about the beginning of September for Bitcoin. So we could extend a little bit more into this longer term triangle, but again, there's going to be a decision soon. You really need to keep an eye out for it. So if we look at Ethereum, very similar. We have the 100-day on the weekly, you know, a little bit below, which is around really big support. So if Ethereum breaks down, I'm looking at somewhere, this is even lower than, I don't think it's going to go all the way down to $700. If it does, load up on those things. Ethereum is going through an interesting thing where they're changing how their system works. So we could see a pullback pretty simply because of that, but that's a lot of speculation. But I'm looking for this 100-day EMA, which is around 1100. If it gets to 1100, you're extremely lucky. I think something, let me see, I don't remember where the 50-day was. I looked at it earlier. I think we're at the 50-day. Oh yeah, we're at the 50-day. So I'm personally looking more for about a $1,400 pullback. But if somehow we do get to this 1100, we'll look at a range between the 100-day and the 50-day, which is anywhere between 1400 and 1200. This is an absolute buy zone if we break down. But if we don't, similar story to Bitcoin, we could have a violent push upwards off of this triangle break. And if we don't, this is the third scenario I'd say, we would probably just continue sideways for months and months and months before it makes a decision. But again, couple weeks, you need to be paying attention. And the last one I want to cover, because I'm just going to cover my favorites for you guys. I'm not going to pump anything I don't have a lot of knowledge about. So the last one is ADA. And so as I mentioned, this one's been holding up the best. But back here when we were at in this range, I made a video. I said, do not buy. Do not buy. We're headed lower. We're headed lower. Y'all didn't listen to me, or some people didn't listen to me. I was getting flack about this. I did a great analysis on that on Cardano and why it's actually probably one of the weaker names based on the average retail investor price is around $1.40. And we're seeing much more short-term investors load into Cardano. And so that could create a lot more downside pressure on the stock. But again, we're coming to this triangle end of July, beginning of August, super important. That's where we're going to choose. We're going to decide how these things break out, either upwards or downwards. And so if we do break to the downside and you have this once in a lifetime buying opportunity, in my opinion, you know, we're going to be looking somewhere between, I think even a little bit higher than this, probably around 80 cents is actually something that I like a little better. So that's about $1. I think we'll go lower than that. But I think anywhere between 80 and 50 cents. If we somehow get all the way down to 80 cents, like you better think about buying a decent amount of that. But I'm looking somewhere between the 80 cents. This is 88 to 75. I think that's a great buying range. But as I mentioned, a lot of newer investors in Cardano, so we could see a lot of fear hit quickly if we do break down, which could cause a larger breakdown, which could send us to these 100 days, which are a bit lower. That'd be, I would say, worst case scenario for this. You know, 50 cents, 60 cents. I don't think we'll go back down to 30 cents. That's just a little too deep for me, unless we have a black swan event. But 60 cents to 80 cents, that's my buying range if we break down. So that's all I got for you guys today. you need to be watching crypto closely over the next 2 weeks to the next month. Something drastic is going to happen. There's a high probability it is based on how we see crypto responding to descending triangles in the past. So please keep your eye on it. I hope you liked the video. These are my rare Bitcoin and crypto videos, so they're not going to happen often. But let me know if you want me to make more of them. I have a lot more thoughts and a lot more insight on how I view crypto and where I think it's headed. So I can do that if you guys want that content. But please sub, please like. I appreciate all the support. Let me know in the comments what you think, and make a video every day. So I'll see you again tomorrow.